we know, in earlier video lecture we have studied about the data transfer scheme, and data transfer scheme plays very important role in interfacing of 8085. As we know, data transfer schemes are used to interface a multiple I/O. Here we have studied about the types of the data transfer scheme. First type is what there, that is program I/O data transfer scheme. Second we have there that is handshake I/O data transfer scheme, and third we have interrupt driven data transfer scheme. By using this data transfer scheme, we can interface a multiple I/O chips with your microprocessor 8085. Same like that, one more additional chip is what there as a support for your microprocessor 8085. We can use this IC as a timer and a counter for your microprocessor. So why we need a timer and counter for a microprocessor? As we know, sometimes maybe for some event we need a timers, or maybe sometimes we have to count an event, and for that purpose we need an external real-time clock which is going to get provided to your microprocessor. Sometimes we need to calculate, or we need to count the events of your events occurring there with the program. For that purpose we have to use a counters there. For that purpose we have a IC there, that is programmable interval timer and counter. This IC comes in two different configurations, that is we have two different types of that IC, 8253 and 8254. Both the ICs are used as a interval timer and a counter, but have a different from each other. Little bit things is what different in both the ICs. For example, we have a clock frequency difference there, and we have a second difference, that is C-back. C-back is what we are going to get there. Read back command is what we are going to use there with IC 8254. Okay, we are going to further discuss about it in detail, but we are going to start the discussion with the basic of your 8253 and 8254. So this is nothing but the pin diagram of 8253, which have a total 24 pins. Among them, 8 pins are used as a bidirectional data bus as an interface of your 8085 microprocessor. By using this 8-bit data bus, bidirectional data bus, we can interface a microprocessor with your programmable timer and counter. Okay. So first pins are there, that is D0 to D7 as a data bus and 8-bit data bus, bidirectional data bus. Second we have clock in, that is clock n pin as a counter clock input. We are going to provide a counter clock to your multiple counters there. Then we have out n there. Out n is a counter output pins are there. Then we have a read and write. Read and write pins are used for counter read and counter write purpose. Then we have a chip select. Chip select plays a very important role in your counter IC. Why? Because whenever we have to select any mode of your counter, maybe on which configuration, because we have a 3 different counters available there of 16-bit. Okay, so we are going to discuss about that. For that purpose, chip select plays a very important role. Then we have a counter select. As we know, we have a 3 different individual counters of a 16-bit available with your counter PID IC. So we can targetly fix one counter for doing its purpose, doing its work. Then we have a VCC and ground. VCC used to provide a 5-volt power supply, and then we have a ground potential in there. So from this pin diagram, we are going to further discuss about the block diagram of your PID, programmable interval timer. So this is nothing but the block diagram of your PID. In this block diagram, we have a total 3 counter available, 16-bit of a 3 counters. So counter 1, counter 2 and counter 3. Each counter have a clock input signal. With it we have a gate enable, we have to enable and disable the gate for clock frequencies, and we have a counter output there. Okay, so for first counter we have a clock 0, gate 0 and output 0. Then for counter 2 we have a 3 pins there, as a 2 pin as an input and 1 as output, that is 2 pin input as a clock 1 and gate 1, and output 1 is what going to be there with the counter 2. And then we have a counter 3 here, where we have a clock counter 0, counter 1 and counter 2. Okay, so here we have a clock 2, gate 2 and output 2. Now these all counters, counter 0, counter 1 and counter 2 is internally connected with the control register. What is the meaning of control word register is what we are going to discuss in this video. Control word register plays very important role to select each counter. Whenever we want to select any counter for doing the work, we are able to select that specific counter. After that, this IC supports the 6 different mode. Among that 6 different mode, if we want to select any targeted mode, for that purpose we also need a control word register. Control word register is a 8-bit register where we have a multiple pins there. By changing the value of them, we are able to select a targeted counter, and with that we are going to select the exact mode of that counter IC. Then we have a read-write logic there. So read-write logic is ultimately going to control your control word register by using a multiple signal there, that is read, write, A0 and A1 with chip select. Whenever you are using a chip select pin, the value of chip select is ultimately going to select the counters here. By using A0 and A1, we can select the exact counter there with the collaboration of control word register. Then we have a data bus buffer, as we have discussed in the pin description. We have a 8-bit data bus there, bidirectional data bus for interfacing your PID IC with your microprocessor. Now we are going to discuss few features of your PID, that is programmable interval timer counter IC. First we have there the clock frequency. If we are using, as we know, we have two different types of PID available in the market, that is 8253 and 8254. Both work same, but little bit difference is there. If we are using 8253, the clock frequency of 8253 is 0 to 2.6 megahertz. Maybe if we are using a 8254, it have a better clock frequency support, that is in between 0 to 10 megahertz. Second feature is there, it have a 3 different 16-bit counter, and that counter is a down counter. So it is going to start the counting from high value and going to end the count at 0. Okay, so that is the meaning of a down counter. Then it have a 6 different modes there, and this counter timer and counter IC is capable of counting binary and BCD counts. Then 8254 also have one feature there, read back command available. So read back command feature is not available with your 8254 IC, which is not available in 8253. Okay, so how we are going to ultimately select the counter 0, counter 2 and counter 1 and counter 2. For selecting exact counter, we have a chart here. By using this chart, we can select the exact counter according to our purpose. So we have two values there, that is A1 and A0, as we have discussed in this block diagram. So A0 and A1 with CS is going to select the exact counter. If the value of A1 and A0 is at a 0, 0, at that time, by default counter 0 is what gets selected. If the value of A1 and A0 is at 0 and 1, then counter 1 is what going to get selected. If the value of A1 and A0 is 1, 0, at that time counter 2 is what going to get selected. And if both the value of A1 and A0 is at 1, at that situation we are going to select the control word register. So why we have to select the control word register? It also plays a very important role in your PID IC for selecting the modes of your 8253 PID. Okay, so look into this chart. We have a select counter. How we used to select? First we have to discuss about the control word register. So in control word register we have a total, it is a 8-bit register where we have a total 8 bit available. At D0 we have a BCD. By using this pin we are able to select either the mode of your counter is going to be into a binary or maybe into a BCD. Next we have D1, D2 and D3. 3 different values are there of M0, M1 and M2. What is the meaning of M? M is the word used for a mode selection of your counter. So ultimately the value of M0, M1 and M2 is going to decide the value of your modes. Then we have D4 and D5 where we have RW1 and RW2. The value of RW1 and RW2 is ultimately going to decide what we are going to do. either we are going to read, either we are going to write the counter. Okay. Then we have SC0 and SC1 at D6 and D7. By using SC1 and SC2, we are SC0 and SC2. Ultimately, we are going to select the counter type. Okay. So here we have SC0 and SC1. Think about selecting the counter. As we know, we have three different counter. Among them, we have to select any specific counter. For that, we have a SC0 and SC1. If the value of SC0 and SC1 is placed at a 0, 0, at that time counter 1 is what going to get selected. If the value of SC0 and SC1 is placed at a 0, 1, at that situation select counter 2 is what going to get selected. If the value of SC0 and SC1 is placed at a 1 and 0, at that time counter 3 is what going to get selected. In a situation where the value of both SC0 and SC1 is placed at 1, logically 1, at that time read back command is available for 8254, and if 8254 is what not there, we are using 8253, this command is what not existing. Next important chart is there for read and write purpose, that is RW1 and RW2 pins from your control word register. So RW1 and RW0 pin is available at D5 and D4. So if the RW1 and RW0 value is placed at a 0, 0, at that time counter latch command and case read operation is going to get followed. Second, if the RW1 is placed at a 0 and RW0 is placed at a 1, at that time read write least significant byte situation is going to be there. So least significant byte of your data is going to, of your counter is going to get read. If the situation is going to be like this, where RW1 is placed at a 1 and RW0 is placed at a 0, at that time read write most significant byte is going to happen with your counter. In this situation, we are going to read the most significant byte of your counter. Then we have a situation where the value of RW1 and RW0 placed at 1, 1 at that time read write least significant. At that situation, we are first going to read the least significant byte first and then most significant byte first. Last. Then we have M. M is for mode selection. As we know, your PIT IC support a 6 different mode of your counter. Among that 6 different counter mode, we have 3 different pins available in your control word register, that is M0, M1 and M2. So if the value of M0, M1 and M2 is placed at a 0, at that time mode 0 is what going to be selected. If the value of M1, M0 and M2 is placed at a 1, 0, 0, at that time mode 2 is what going to get selected. In a situation where M2 value is in a don't care condition and at that time M1 value is placed at a 1 and M0 is placed at a 0, at that time mode 2 is what going to get selected. Similar don't care condition is there with the M2 and at that time M1 value is placed at a 1 and M0 is at 1, at that time mode 3 is what going to get selected. If the situation is there where M2 value is 1, M1 value is 0 and M0 value is 0, at that time mode 4 is what going to get selected. In a situation where M2 value is placed at a 1, M1 value is at a 0 and M0 value is at 1, at that time mode 5 is what going to get selected. Now, as we have discussed earlier that this counter have timer and counter IC have 3 different counters available of 16 bit. That counter can count the 2 different values, that is binary values and BCD values also. So for that purpose, we have a very important pin there, that is B0, which is for BCD. If the pin value of BCD is placed at a 0, at that time counter is going to count the binary value of a 16 bit. It is going to operate in a binary mode where we are going to use it as a 16-bit counter with a 3 different counter. Similar like that, if we want to use it as a binary coded decimal, that is BCD, for that purpose your D0 pin, that is BCD pin, need to be at a logic 1 where we are going to count a BCD value. So this is nothing but the 8253 and 8254 programmable interval timer available for providing timer delay and available for providing or generating the delay in your program, for providing the counting event and all. So multiple work is what we are going to do with 8085 microprocessor, and this IC is also compatible with another microprocessor also. Okay, so in this video we have studied in detail about the plain description of PID. With that we have studied the block diagram of PID. With that we have studied about the control word register, how to select the modes of your PID, and all points what we have covered. In further video we are going to start a discussion with the next portion, where we are going to start a discussion with serial communication by using USART, Universal Synchronous Asynchronous Transmitter and Receiver. Thank you for watching.